that, welcome inside this edition of Big Ten Today. Rick Pizzo, Rafael Davis alongside as we get ready for a Tuesday night that may just be the best night in the Big Ten regular season this entire year.
I mean, it's going to be big time. You look at that game at Mackey Arena, Michigan coming to town, two of the best teams in all of college basketball, two of the best players in all of college basketball. And then you trickle down, you go to that Wisconsin at Ohio State game. Ohio State needs a win. Wisconsin, one of the hottest teams in all of college basketball. Tonight is going to be special.
Mike DeCourcy is also with us, fueled by caffeine and all those teams living on and off the bubble right now. Mike, Tuesday night, not just 5 ranked teams in action, but almost everyone that takes the floor has something serious to play for.
This is when I talk about there really being a bubble. People talk about the bubble in like January, and you can say that, but it's not real. The bubble is real when your opportunities to win your way into the tournament start to really shrink. And we're starting to see that now. Teams have 5, 6 games left in the regular season in the major conferences. And it really becomes important to do the best you can with what you have. Because if you don't, you wind up with the kind of disappointing selection Sundays that we saw for Indiana, Ohio State, and Nebraska a year ago.
The only way that you get ready for a night of this size is with the big story. Take a look at some of the games that are on the Tuesday night schedule. It is absolutely loaded from start to finish. Rafael mentioned that Michigan-Purdue game. UCLA, Michigan State. The Spartans are struggling. The Bruins in desperate need of a win. Wisconsin and Ohio State mean so much, especially for the Buckeyes. Nebraska and Iowa. Hawkeyes better be careful with the schedule that they have, and the recent loss to Maryland, Minnesota, and Oregon will wrap up the night. Michigan is right now the team to beat, without question, inside the Big Ten. They're also considered to be the #1 overall seed right now in the NCAA tournament. As far as winning the Big Ten regular season, should Michigan knock off Purdue on Tuesday night, their percentage chances of winning the league go to nearly 90%. With a loss, it drops by some 30%. Mike, you could argue right now, at least over the course of the past week, no 2 teams in the Big Ten are playing better than Michigan or Purdue. Now, Michigan's stretch has been lengthier than the Boilermakers, but Purdue seems to have found something certainly over the last 7 days.
Yeah, Purdue has played exceedingly well, and it starts for me with Braden Smith being more of a playmaker. I pointed out multiple times now, when he gets double-digit assists, they win. They're 11-1 now in a dozen games that he's gotten double-figure assists, and that to me is a defining stat. And part of it is, Coach Painter pointed this out on Saturday, if he gets assists it's because we're making baskets. So that's somewhat self-fulfilling, but him as a playmaker is really important. And then you go to his longtime backcourt partner, Fletcher Loyer. Over the course of the last 3 games, all victories, you've seen him shoot 16 of 36 from three-point range, excellent percentage in the 3 losses. Excuse me, that's the 4-game winning streak, and in the 3-game losing streak that preceded that, he was 5 of 15. They need Fletcher Loyer to play at his best. It can't just everybody's going to have a rough game, but 3 rough games and you're probably not going as far as you want. So he needs to be at the top of his game every time out.
No, 100%, Mike. This is the game for Purdue where your big dogs, you think of that big 3, Fletcher Loyer, Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn, they got to earn those NIL checks in this one. You can't depend on C.J. Cox and your role players to beat the #1 team in the country. So Braden Smith, Mike, I think he's got to do both. I think he's got to score the ball at a high level, and I think he has to facilitate because he's had games. You go back to last season when Purdue was facing Houston in the Sweet 16, and Houston kind of resembles the defense that Michigan's going to face. He had 15 assists, but only 7 points, and Purdue loses that game. And you look at games this season where Purdue has struggled. You go to Iowa State, only 11 points. You go to UCLA, only 12 points. He's got to be a guy that can score that basketball when it's one-on-one, but also get his teammates involved when it presents himself. He's got to control the game, control the tempo, and make this a half-court basketball game.
I do think this is a big ask for Purdue's bigs because when you consider how Purdue matches up against Michigan's bigs, it doesn't appear to be that is nearly as good a matchup as Purdue has had in recent games.
Oh, no, that's why Fletcher Loyer has to be huge on both sides of the floor. He's got to be a guy that can make shots on the offensive end and stretch out that Michigan defense. Maybe force Michigan to go and play small, but on the flip side, defensively, he's got to guard his yard. He's got to protect the paint, keep Yaxel Lindenberg in front and off the glass. The size issue to me comes when the shot goes up and Purdue's got to go get a defensive rebound, because who's going to be that guy that's checking out Yaxel Lindenberg at that 3 spot? All 5 guys have to go rebound, and they have to keep this game in the half court. You don't want to get this up and down going with Michigan in transition.
You let Michigan get up by 15 or 20. Coming back against this team is a really big ask. Mike, I mentioned that right now Michigan is the favorite to be the #1 overall seed, not just in the Big Ten tournament, but in the NCAA tournament after some losses last week by Arizona, by Houston. Purdue is climbing and climbing quickly in your bracket as well. How should we measure the impact of this game when it comes to NCAA tournament seeding?
Yeah, it's interesting because if Michigan were to lose, they would not lose a #1 seed. They may fall from the #1 overall, but the #1 overall is not a consequential thing this year because the real candidates are all geographically disparate. Duke wants to be a 1 seed in the East region where it's in D.C. Michigan wants the Midwest region where it's in Chicago. And then Arizona wants to be in the West. So there's no real fight there among those 3. They just want to stay on the 1 line, and it's not going to be easy for any of them to get off. For Purdue, very difficult for them to climb up to a 1 seed, but they can begin the march toward that if they are able to get this game. So it certainly has an impact on the Big Ten standings, and you want to protect the #2 seed if you're Purdue because they're in a good position. They'd get some geographic advantages in regards to where they'd be placed in the first round, and then they would probably go, if they're a #2 seed, they'd probably go to D.C., which wouldn't be a terrible trip. So I think that all of that would be to their benefit if they were able to get Michigan tonight.
Right now, again, Michigan a #1, Purdue a #2 in Mike's current bracket. We'll show you all of the Big Ten teams and where they sit, according to Mike, with a couple of weeks and change left to play in the Big Ten regular season. Now, Nebraska and Iowa are also in that mix, Mike, but in slightly different situations. Nebraska no longer really has a shot, a legitimate shot, unless they run the table and crazy things happen to be a #1 seed. Iowa, meanwhile, is potentially in a danger zone after losing to Maryland and with how difficult the Hawkeye schedule is the rest of the way. But as we focus on this one specifically, what are you going to be watching for?
Well, I'm going to be watching how the rest of Iowa's players complement Bennett Sturts because he did not have a rough game, that rough of a game against Purdue is what was around him. He had 1 assist on Saturday, and Bennett Sturts did not forget to pass in 3 days. He's a tremendous passer, one of the absolute best in college basketball. And I've said before, the best pocket passer, that little inside bounce pass he does, that I've seen in college basketball, and I've been doing this for nearly 40 years. Tremendous at that. So they have to be more efficient, more effective. It can't just be him. And Nebraska, I think we need to see them get a little bit more effective on offense. They've been defensively quite good, but they got thrown off by the injury to Braden Frager, the illness to Rink Mass, and they've only started to get back to being the offensive basketball team that they were for even up through the Michigan game. They passed the basketball really well. They cut, they moved, but they just didn't have enough finishers in that game because of the 2 absences. And now they've got to get back to being that team on offense. Defense has been great. I think that's the problem for Iowa is how do they navigate the terrific defense that Nebraska has been able to play. I think that would be the biggest issue for the Hawkeyes in this game.
I'm with you, Mike. It's all about offense for Nebraska. I think this game for Nebraska is about Nebraska looking in the mirror. They've got to get Rink Mask and Braden Frager going because the offense is struggling because 2 of their top 3 guys are struggling to score the basketball. You look at Rink Mask, he was brilliant at Rutgers a couple games ago, but it's at Rutgers, a team that won't play in the NCAA tournament, so you've got to do it against the big dogs. You look at Braden Frager, he was sensational when he came back against Illinois, knocked down 6 threes, but he does not seem to have that wiggle off the dribble getting into the lane struggling with that ankle. I don't know if it's 100%. You look at Braden Frager's last 3 games, only giving him 7 points. You need Braden Frager to be a double-digit scorer, a guy that can get into the lane off the bounce, a guy that can go get you 2-3 offensive rebound putbacks every single night. And then this offense, the way they run it, inverted style, Rink Mass at the top of the key. If Rink Mass isn't going to be productive scoring the basketball, the offense does not work. You see in that game against Northwestern, Rink Mass got sent to the bench in that second half because he was unplayable and they weren't fluid in their offense. If you want this Nebraska offense to get back going, those 2 guys have to be at their best. But for Iowa, you look at them against Maryland, you look at them against Northwestern. Bennett Sturts goes for 32. He goes for 36, but he took 20 shots. You look at that game against Purdue, only 12 shot attempts. Young fella has got to shoot the basketball. 12 shots is not enough in this conference to win games. And then his other guys, they've got to do their part. But Bennett Sturts, you got to go for 30, my boy, every single night out.
Easier said than done for the Huskers to go to Carver Hawkeye. Never an easy place to play. But, Mike, when you think about Iowa, this is one of 2 games that the Hawkeyes have left against Nebraska. They'll finish the year with a trip to Lincoln. They also have to play Wisconsin. They also have to play Ohio State. They also have to play Michigan. Is it fair to say that this game, in terms of NCAA tournament futures and seedings, probably a little bit more important for Iowa than it is for Nebraska?
I think it is. I think Nebraska, the path back to a 2 seed is probably only through attrition of others. Obviously, you have to continue to win in order to do that, but there's not that much on the remaining schedule that is going to make the committee notice. So they have to hope that there's a lot of losses on the 2 line ahead of them in order to move up. But for Iowa, you were right when you talked about at the beginning of the show that they have to get real serious about this. And here's the wildest thing. As I was preparing for this show, I looked at that schedule and you just went through it. And it dawned on me, this is the, quote, easiest game that they have of all their quad 1 games remaining. They have 4 quad 1s remaining. This is the easy one, guys, to play Nebraska, which is such a tremendous team. But it's at home. You play Michigan, you play at Nebraska. So this is the easy one of that group. And I don't envy the Hawkeyes that. I don't know that they necessarily need to win any of those quad 1 games to stay in the field. But if they don't win any of those quad 1s, then they might be looking at having to play in Dayton. So they need to get themselves a win to basically secure that they'll stay somewhere in the middle of the field.
Yeah, because right now, Mike, in this month of February, their wins are over Oregon and over Washington. That doesn't do you a ton. Then they beat Northwestern. None of those teams right now are projected to make the NCAA tournament. You lose to Maryland. You get throttled by Purdue. We have the Nebraska game. The one that you left out, by the way, a road trip to Wisconsin. Oh. That's the next game after this one. So right, Ben McCollum knows just how important this game is at home against the Huskers. It's not easy, but as Mike said, in comparison to the rest, it may in fact be the easiest. And in